In this video, we're going to talk about the biggest tip that I would have for a person facing a divorce in Indiana. And it's important to know with divorce, there's kind of two aspects to it. If you have kids, there's the child side. But if you don't have kids, there's the property side. This video is about the property side because it's applicable to everybody. And that's why it's the biggest tip if you're facing a divorce in Indiana. And the tip is pretty simple. If you're going through a divorce, you should know what you have. And that's from both an asset and a debt standpoint. Going through and starting that early can make a big difference in speeding up the divorce process, as well as helping you work towards a settlement or negotiation in the end. So how you do that, you would create a comprehensive inventory of what you have. That's from an asset standpoint, vehicles, home, and well as from a debt standpoint, credit cards, home equity lines, anything like that. And then it goes into retirements. Do you have retirement accounts? You need to go through and think about what you guys have as family. So you determine what you have, come up with the values, and then also think through, is there anything you're forgetting about? So it's important because identifying what you have can help you and your spouse come to a common ground in terms of start thinking who gets what, how are we going to value this? Can we agree on what the value is? It could speed up the process. Sometimes not doing this can prolong the discovery process. Typically, discovery is a part of a divorce case where you go through and you ask questions where a person has to identify different information or produce documents. Getting this stuff together early can help save time and money and helps just gain momentum so you know all the different moving parts that you're dealing with early on in the case. So what can you do? Honestly, I always tell people to start preparing. I would have them get things like their bank statements from the time they filed for divorce, the mortgage statement, any statements from their debts, the most recent quarterly retirement account statement. I would go and get all these different things so then you can use it to put it all together. And it helps you avoid these long drawn out battles. And it can help you save money because you're not having your attorney go out and find this stuff when it's honestly stuff that you could simply put together yourself. So there's also tools that you can help do this. The financial declaration is a form in Indiana. It's a standard form. It varies court to court, but a lot of times it has you identify your monthly expenses as well as all your assets and debts. When it comes to valuing properties, you can go to tools like Zillow or Realtor.com and use those to try and get an estimation on value. That may not always be the most accurate. So the other thing you can do is talk to a local realtor to get an idea on what pricing could be. If there's vehicles, you can go to Kelley Blue Book and NADA guides. And then also get your bank account statements. You would ultimately put all that together into a balance sheet where you can then start to assign different things to one spouse or the other spouse to show how it all comes together. So here's a look at what a financial declaration looks like. Essentially, it lists out who the parties are, and then through the top, you would start going through what all the income is. And then this is the second page where you go through and actually list out the values of everything. Are there vehicles, securities, checking accounts? So the process of going through this kind of helps you think through all the different buckets of items you have. And then here's a sample balance sheet where it's put all together. So here it lists value of furnishings, automobiles, different securities accounts, checking accounts, real estate, the marital residence. And then you can go through with the columns and assign values of that asset to each person. If you have questions, give me a call. I'd be happy to look at your case. But ultimately, the biggest tip is just to go through and be prepared and know your numbers and do that early. Because if you do that early, it can help you ultimately come up with a negotiated settlement in the end and save yourself time, emotion, and money.